As one of the first games announced for the Nintendo Wii, the original Red Steel carried with it a heavy burden. For many, the game's failures were seen as a definitive moment for the system, as it was proof that the motion controls weren't really all they were promoted to be. Now, history risks repeating itself, and the sequel has been released utilizing the Wii Motion Plus, being the first non-sports title to support the peripheral. Again, Ubisoft finds itself at the forefront, ready to either prove the promise of Nintendo's controller or condemn it.
Hey, Payne! I think he's still alive!
Not for long.
Set in a fictional, futuristic Old West setting, Red Steel 2 follows an unnamed protagonist, a member of the Kusagari clan. After being dragged into town, the hero finds that the Jackals have taken over, killing nearly all members of his clan. On his quest for revenge and justice, he runs into a number of different characters at different locations, each offering him assistance. Each area offers a number of new tasks, including some optional side quests that can be completed while pursuing the main story missions. In general, the story's missions amount to traveling from place to place in the city and fighting a number of enemies, before returning back to the original spot to return in the quest. As a narrative, it fails to impress, but it does a good job of pushing the player from battle to battle. The original Red Steel was a first-person shooter with brief, scripted sword battles that ended up playing out like two cavemen hitting each other with clubs. Things have changed in the 4 years between releases, and the Wii Motion Plus's inclusion has done wonders for the gameplay. Now, switching between firearms and swords is simple, and the actual swordplay is done better than just about any game has in the past. Slashing enemies works exactly as it should, and nary a moment goes by where the player isn't unlocking several new abilities to make battle even more varied. The combat is fantastic, and it's one of the best first-person melee systems in gaming, held back only by the content of Red Steel 2 itself. While it's still blissfully entertaining, fighting the same enemies over and over again in uninteresting missions becomes tiring by the end of the 8-hour-long game, which is an issue no matter how good the combat itself is. There's simply not enough to break up the monotony. Occasional minigames do little to add variety, and there's an early game QuickTime event battle that, while fun, is the only one to be found. Ubisoft put all of their focus on swordplay, and while it was successful, it feels as though there should have been more to do besides slice up Jackals. Instead of attempting to pull off realism, Ubisoft opted for a comic book feel, cel-shading the world of Red Steel to match the over-the-top gameplay. The approach works wonders to set the game apart in the genre, and helps hide the system's flaws under sleek, stylish visuals. It manages to not only look as good as some games on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but it does it while running at 60 frames a second without any slowdowns. The only kink in the armor comes from load times, which are hidden indoors in the same way that Retro did with the Metroid Prime series. Too often, players will find themselves standing in front of doors for 10 seconds longer than expected as the Wii attempts to catch up with the game, loading the next room. If it were less frequent, it wouldn't be so much of an issue, but it happens so often that it throws a roadblock in the otherwise action-packed adventure. Red Steel 2 isn't just the game everyone wished Red Steel was, it's better than that. It single-handedly proves the Wii Motion Plus's value for adventure games while providing one of the best action experiences on the system. Issues with story and gameplay variety shouldn't stop anyone from picking it up, as the game definitely lives up to the hype, and it's a must-own for anyone interested in slicing up some Jackals. Thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the full text review on Gamervision.com.